My company was about to go public, but my wife, Sophia, live-streamed online, accusing me of marital rape, contextualized legal case, and dragged Brandon into forcing me to step down. I decisively withdrew my investment, and Robert's company collapsed that very day. She begged me like a madwoman. I only said one thing: your father only has one client, me. If I don't go public, what does that make him? Sophia furrowed her brow, filled with intense disdain. Can't you just reapply? Do I really need to teach you something so simple? My tone was calm, devoid of any emotion. My cooperation agreement with your father was for 1 year. For the first half of that, because you accused me of marital rape, contextualized legal case, the work couldn't be completed, and no services were rendered. She impatiently interrupted. But there's still the second half. Do we, as family, really need to be so petty? Must we account for every penny of 6 months' worth of fees? Her foolishness made me laugh aloud. Didn't your father tell you that if an application fails, the next one can't be made for at least 6 months? That means he can't provide any services for the entire year. So, what's wrong with me ending the cooperation? Sophia couldn't argue with me, and simply turned her face away, just using this as personal revenge. How many times have I told you, don't pick fights with Brandon? My fingers tapped on the keyboard, my voice as flat as ice. If there's nothing else, please leave. I am still very busy. My cold, distant tone finally infuriated Sophia. She picked up the bucket of dirty water nearby and drenched me with it. No wonder no one likes you. A cold-blooded, selfish monster, utterly devoid of human warmth or family affection, not even half as good as Brandon. I want a divorce. The muddy water made my skin itch. This time, instead of appeasing her with money, I pulled out the divorce papers from my drawer. Fine, let's get divorced. She froze instantly, her beautiful face slightly distorted by rage. Ethan, you've got guts. Divorce, then. Who needs you? Don't forget who knelt to propose back then. She slammed the door shut and stormed out. Though I should have been upset, I quickly returned to work after a shower, staying busy until late evening before finally going home. In our 7 years of marriage, she had threatened me with divorce countless times. If I didn't help Brandon with his job, she'd threaten divorce. IFS work wasn't going well, she'd threaten divorce. She forced me to solve Brandon's problems one after another, literally elevating such a good-for-nothing to vice president. For her sake, I tolerated it again and again. I bore all of Brandon's mistakes, until this time, when the listing application was rejected. The market is full of unpredictable changes, especially for internet companies. The timing of going public is crucial. I had prepared for a full 3 years for this, scrutinizing every employee's background, down to the smallest detail. Yet, it still couldn't outweigh her regard for Brandon. I suddenly realized that my initial mistake was chasing her alongside Brandon. She married me for fame and fortune, but her heart always belonged to Brandon. Footsteps tapped outside the study. Sophia and Brandon emerged from the room, their voices somewhat awkward. I won't hold. What happened with my father against you? Just help Brandon one more time. This time, just give him a manager position. His wife always calls him useless, and he's about to have a child, so he can't keep messing around like this. Her expression softened when she mentioned Brandon's child. Yet 6 years ago, she had threatened me with a fully formed baby to make me help Brandon. If you don't help Brandon, I won't have your child. She turned and walked into the operating room, having the child forcibly removed, leaving behind only a trace of ashes. Eleanor, in the late stage of cancer, who had been counting the days to hold her great-grandchild, passed away without her wish ever coming true. I lit a cigarette, the smoke encircling my reddened eyes. She had forgotten her wish to have a daughter when we got married. She also forgot how good Eleanor had been to her. When she first learned Eleanor was ill, Sophia was terrified, and even during her career's peak, she didn't hesitate to resign and prepare for pregnancy, solely to ensure Eleanor had no regrets, for she truly could give up anything. Seeing that I remained silent for a long time, Sophia put her hands on her hips, her voice turning fierce. Speak. Are you going to help or not? Brandon handed me a glass of water, but spilled it all over me. Ethan, if it's too much trouble, then forget it. I know I'll never measure up to you, with your successful career. Sophia lost her patience. rummaging through boxes and cabinets to pull out my corporate seal. She stamped an appointment letter, agreeing for Brandon to become manager. She peered at it for a few moments, still feeling it wasn't enough, then took the corporate seal and stamped several blank sheets of paper, a glaring red. I grabbed her wrist, my heart pounding violently. Do you have any idea how much legal risk blank sealed documents carry? Sophia pulled her hand away from mine. So what? We're family, why fuss over such things? Brandon's about to have a child. He should have more security. If we're doing well, what's wrong with me helping him out? The last shred of love in my heart vanished completely. I snatched the blank, sealed documents and ripped them apart. Before I could speak, she slapped me across the face. What are you doing? My face stuck, and the pen in my hand snapped in two. You just want to give him some security, don't you? I'll set up a company for him, and he can be his own boss. Brandon's eyes instantly gleamed with greed, always ridiculed how impressive it would be to be his own boss. Sophia was half skeptical. Can you really be that kind? I reclined in the sofa chair. Of course not. I am getting a divorce. Once the divorce papers are finalized, I'll give him the company. Sophia was about to flare up, but then she heard me continue. Don't worry, it's a fake divorce. It'll curb the current public opinion and speed up the company's listing process. Sophia displayed an I knew it expression. All right, I agree. Once the storm passes, we'll remarry immediately. After successfully obtaining the divorce certificate, I kept my promise and tossed the new business license to Brandon. Sophia, unusually, smiled at me. Ethan, you've matured. Since you're being so sensible, I agree to spend tomorrow's anniversary with you. I nodded, not exposing that she had gotten the date wrong. Early the next morning, she left home early, leaving a kiss on my forehead. Take the day off today. Don't go anywhere. I'll make you a big seafood feast. I got up, washed my face, and prepared to go to the office. Just as I stepped out of the house, Sophia sent me a message. Ethan, I got the date wrong. Today is Brandon's traditional birthday celebration. Look at me. I knew something felt off yesterday. Good thing my phone's date reminder popped up today. Gotta go. I am off to help Brandon prepare his cake. I switched off my phone and headed to the company to handle some business, while also sorting out the company I had given to Brandon. Did he really think I'd set up a major company for an enemy like him? Even after the divorce, Sophia wasn't the least bit flustered. She was certain I'd remarry her, so she went on a shopping spree with her credit card, making large purchases. I had set up linked payments, so every expense was ultimately my responsibility. She bought Brandon the most expensive birthday gift. She bought a luxury car worth millions without batting an eye. She even bought a unique advertising space on a landmark building in downtown, wishing him a happy birthday with colorful scrolling letters. Happy, my Brandon. She spent a fortune hiring a drone team to fly in the sky, forming various shapes to amuse Brandon. Brandon, as long as he's happy, anything I do is worth it. Brandon posted on his social media post, touched, with this one person, I have no regrets in this life. I smiled, a bitter taste in my throat. For every one of my birthday celebrations, anniversaries, the dinner table would only feature seafood, yet I hated seafood the most because my father had drowned in the sea. Despite countless arguments, Sophia would still get it wrong. It was Brandon who loved seafood. I casually liked the post and commented, happy, Brandon. Sophia called, launching into a torrent of accusations. Why did you like it? Are you trying to make people compare the two of you again? How calculating. She finished speaking and hung up the phone. To make it up to Brandon, she took him tandem skydiving. The two of them hugged tightly, leaving an arc in the sky, and even made it into the newspapers, drawing envious stares. I furiously smashed my phone onto the ground, its screen shattering into pieces. After the divorce, she became even more shameless. That very night, because Sophia had mistakenly linked my phone to hers earlier, I received a check-in notification for the city's most famous hammer couples suite. They stayed there for several days, only reluctantly returning home. Sophia's expression shifted slightly, because at that moment, I was sitting with Brandon's wife, Olivia, discussing something. The two of you, alone together, drinking tea here. I didn't even bother to look up, focusing only on pouring tea for Brandon's wife, discussing business, company matters. Sophia breathed a sigh of relief. That night, Sophia put on a provocative dress, and wrapped her arms around my waist. Husband, has the matter been resolved? Can we remarry now? She thought I would be like before, turn around and hold her, but I merely tossed her a change of clothes. No, it's a bit complicated. Brandon showed up at my door the next day, grabbing my collar. Ethan, are you trying to seduce my wife, you bastard? Trying to imitate my tricks? Is it because my wife keeps praising how interesting you are? I forcefully pulled him away, and threw him to the ground. Get lost. I am not as filthy as you. We're just fellow sufferers in this world. Seeing me frustrated, Brandon wore a triumphant expression, and burst out laughing. Ethan, if finally getting what you deserve. Of course, I want to make things even worse for you. I'll tell you a secret. Your father died terribly back then too. I could have gotten up. I had learned how to swim a long time ago. I deliberately pushed him back, causing him to fall into the sea and drown. His body still hasn't been recovered. Finally, I heard him admit it himself. My rage could no longer be suppressed. I punched him in the face. You ungrateful wretch. My father treated you like his own son. Why would you do this? Brandon licked his wound, smiling indifferently. Who told you to be so outstanding and have everything? Your father was a cut above mine, and I was always suppressed by you everywhere. Why should your family be so lucky? As for your mother, I also poisoned her with a slow-acting toxin. I couldn't control myself any longer. I raised my fists and slammed them into his face, blow after blow, drawing blood with every hit. I was surprised he didn't resist. Sophia, who had appeared behind me at some point, hit me on the head with the high heel shoe I had given her. Blood immediately welled up. She gently helped Brandon up, her heartache impossible to conceal. Brandon, are you alright? Brandon's voice was hoarse. I am fine, as long as Ethan isn't angry. I know he resents me for harming his uncle. It was my childishness that made him sacrifice himself to save me. Sophia wiped away his tears. It's not your fault. Ethan is just narrow-minded. She no longer hesitated. She entered the password, took confidential documents from the safe, and as she passed me, she spoke. Ethan, Brandon shouldn't stop here. You've held sway over the family standing for so long. It's time to change places. Don't worry. Brandon promised me he'd give you a good position, enough for us to live comfortably for the rest of our lives. Watching her unhesitating departure, my heart turned to ice. I went to the hospital to treat my wounds. Sophia had hit me with such force, almost fracturing my skull. My secretary looked distressed. Boss, our company is on the verge of bankruptcy. That small company you gave away drained everything from us. Brandon specifically came to my VIP hospital suite to gloat. Look at you now. You've lost everything. The company is mine, and your wife is mine too. Living like this, you'd be better off dead. I picked up the lamp from the VIP hospital suite, and threw it directly at his head. Get out. Brandon clutched his head, but still didn't forget to hurl a threat. Ethan, let's see how long you can still be arrogant. During the few days I was hospitalized for observation, Sophia never came, not even sending a single text message. She was busy taking care of Brandon. Watching the figures downstairs, I instructed my assistant, file for bankruptcy, freeze all credit cards. Soon it was the end of the month, and Sophia's credit card started getting debt collection calls. She found me, her brow furrowed. Why haven't you paid the credit card bills? I am getting debt collection messages. Pay it quickly, it's tens of millions. I spread my hands. The company went bankrupt. What do I have to pay with? She choked, about to open her mouth to curse at me. Brandon anxiously sought her out. The company I gave him was merely a shell company designed for shorting. Brandon had poured a lot of his own money into it, and now he was burdened with a pile of debt. He was furious. To destroy me. You destroyed yourself. It seems you're not that smart after all. I laughed. Such a foolish move hardly fit the reputation of a business genius. My secretary called, urging me, boss, the celebration gala can begin. The listing was successful. Brandon's face turned incredibly grim. Ethan, did you trick me? I couldn't be bothered to look up at him, and kicked him away. A good dog doesn't block the way. You're right. My company's assets were mostly transferred a long time ago. Shifting focus to a subsidiary is hardly a difficult task. Sophia looked at me in disbelief. Ethan, I knew what she wanted to say and coldly cut her off. Yes, I am that malicious. In the past, I was completely unguarded with you. When needed money, you'd sell things to help him. This time, I did it on purpose. And no, I didn't actually cooperate with your father. With his level of skill, I would have needed at least 2 firms to guarantee the job got done. Sophia clutched her chest, her beautiful eyebrows knitted together. Ethan, you weren't like this before. Demeaning my family, I won't remarry you. So, Brandon had long been her family, while I, her husband, was not. I laughed aloud, truly amused by her foolishness. I am sorry, I have no interest in remarrying either. I glanced at the sports car outside. Brandon froze, realizing it was his wife, Olivia. Olivia threw a divorce agreement onto his face. You leaving with nothing? My money has nothing to do with you. Your infidelity is common knowledge, so I don't need to remind you. Pay your own debts. I was completely unaware. Brandon panicked and blocked Olivia's path. Wife, you can't do this. We have a child together. Sophia and I were just having some fun, using her money to entertain ourselves. The only one I truly love. Sophia, having been belittled, immediately grew upset. Brandon, have you forgotten who helped you find jobs, who solved your problems? If it weren't for me, you would have gone to prison for stealing confidential documents. Why else would I have gone live, streaming online to expose Ethan? Brandon stiffened his neck. You were the one who threw yourself at me. I never pursued you. I have a wife. Sophia's eyes widened in disbelief. Brandon, if it wasn't for your father saving my life, why would I have helped you so much, constantly putting Ethan at a disadvantage? Get it straight. He is my husband. The two of them were arguing uncontrollably. Annoyed, I called security. Neither of these two are allowed into the company ever again. Threw them both out. Sophia's eyes instantly welled up. She grabbed my sleeve. Ethan, don't leave. Don't be like this. I never expected Brandon to be like this. He's not even half as good as you. Olivia pushed Brandon away and walked over to my side. Let's go. The celebration gala is about to start. Dealing with these people is a complete waste of time. She turned to Brandon and said, I already aborted the child. Your genes disgust me. I chuckled, and together we left. At the celebration gala, we raised our glasses to celebrate together. My secretary was boasting everywhere. Our boss is incredibly impressive. I really thought bankruptcy was for real. Good thing. We averted the disaster and saved my job. They praised me so much I almost couldn't accept it. Just as the atmosphere reached its peak, Sophia and Brandon started clamoring to see us. Everyone in the company knew Brandon, and their dislike for him was considerable. I let them in. Brandon looked like he'd been beaten, with bruises around his eyes. I didn't know if Sophia had hit him, or if the debt collectors had. Sophia wasn't doing much better. She looked deflated, and her phone was turned off. The surrounding crowd made snide remarks. Didn't Brandon become a boss? Why is he still coming here? Who used to hog the toilet and never do anything, just loitering around and ordering people to work? Before, Brandon used to swagger around the company. He wouldn't have tolerated such humiliation. He would have immediately jumped up and cursed them back. My colleagues only tolerated him to some extent out of respect for me. Sophia looked at me, tears in her eyes. Ethan, look at this. I just got this. It hurts so much. I took a slow sip of my imported red wine, before bothering to cast even a half glance at her. What does that have to do with me? Sophia's eyes were bloodshot. Ethan, I truly know I was wrong. Can we please remarry? I shook my head. I'll pack up your things and throw them out. Don't you dare come to the estate tonight. That's my home. Sophia cried and shook her head. No, please don't drive me away. I promise I'll live properly. Don't you want a child? I'll get pregnant and bear one for you, okay? She begged piteously. But I asked with a smile, didn't you have your uterus removed for Brandon? How will you give birth? She suddenly looked up, her eyes wide with disbelief. How did you know? My fingers clenched, aching. When I saw that surgical consent form back then, my heart was torn to shreds. To avoid destroying our family, I slowly processed it internally. Naively, I made excuses for her, believing it must have been because Sophia was unwell, and had no choice but to have her uterus removed. But later, Brandon found me and mocked me, saying I couldn't even get a woman's uterus. that I was destined to have no heirs in this life. Only then did I realize that he had been instigating everything, and Sophia had actually listened to him. Sophia felt herself enveloped by regret. How she wished she could do it all over again. If she had another chance, she wouldn't have liked Brandon. She thought Ethan was boring, only doing serious work all day, lacking charm, and far less fun than being with Brandon. Yet, her parents kept saying Ethan was a good man, and insisted she marry him. Driven by a rebellious streak, she secretly reveled in her betrayal. Ethan's repeatedly forgiving nature spoiled her to no end, but now, she realized her parents were right. Brandon was all talk and no action. It was her own blinded by foolishness back then, failing to see his flaws. Her voice hoarse, she asked me, Ethan, do we have a chance to start over? Children can come from many sources. We can adopt one, or you can even have one with another woman and call me the stepmother. I'd be willing. I've just realized now that you truly are a rare and good man. My secretary, who had no liking for her, received a confirming glance from me, and spoke, mocking her. I knew you were blinded by foolishness. You had such a good man like our boss, and you fell for that philanderer. You deserve this now, don't you? I heard you're neck deep in debt. I guess you two are quite a match now. Sophia was so enraged she tried to get up and hit her, but she accidentally tripped over a table, and a wine bottle crashed onto her, leaving her as pathetic as a drowned rat. Her gaze was fixed on me, hoping I would reach out to help her up, but I merely watched the show from beginning to end. Sophia gnashed her teeth. Ethan, are you truly going to be this ruthless? Brandon slapped her across the face. Talk money. What's this about feelings? Do you really think he'd still like you? Sophia extended her nails and savagely raked them across Brandon's face. What I do is none of your business. If you hadn't interfered, how could Ethan and I have grown apart? Brandon's face was completely disfigured. He tightly gripped Sophia's neck. Didn't you enjoy it too? Flirting in your pajamas all day? Weren't you having a grand time? A woman like you, I'd consider bad luck even if she were given to me as a wife. Chapter 7. The two of them were fighting fiercely, fearing someone might get killed, which would be bad luck and affect others. I immediately called the police and had them thrown out after they agreed to pay for damages. After getting rid of the two, I walked smilingly to the center of the stage, let the music play on, let the dancing continue. After retrieving her belongings from the trash bin outside the estate, Sophia finally realized that Ethan no longer loved her. Robert also called, angrily scolding her. Why are you so troublesome? You drove away such a good man. Go beg for his forgiveness right now and win back his heart. Sophia stopped crying, her eyes gradually turning fierce. It's no use. He completely stopped loving me. Since that's the case, I'll make one last score. After all, he has a record of marital rape. Contextualized legal case. Early the next morning, Sophia appeared on the trending topics online, her eyes swollen red from crying, as if two large lanterns were hanging from her face. Dear netizens, as I've mentioned before, my husband committed marital rape. Contextualized legal case. He resented me for messing up his company's listing, causing me to owe tens of millions. Some netizens, unaware of the truth, sided with her and cursed me. What kind of man is this? Not only does he have a record of marital rape, but he also dares to retaliate. Divorce, divorce. What kind of life is this? Sophia looked on the verge of tears. We're already divorced. I was tricked into divorcing him. He just wanted me to be solely responsible for tens of millions in debt. What's even worse, is that his subsidiary company has gone public, and he's doing so well, while I've been harmed like this. Netizens, feeling sorry for her, comforted her and flooded my web pages with attacks. Some hackers even broke into my computer and left curse messages. My phone was bombarded with calls. Sophia triumphantly called me. Ethan, it would be good for you to be with me. Anyway, you don't have much emotion. You're just a work machine. Who we with doesn't matter, does it? If you refuse, I'll make a scene, and I'll keep making a scene until you have nothing, just like me. Her former gentle demeanor had completely vanished. I was so angry I crushed the cup in my hand. Furious at my past self for falling in love with such scum, I also laughed aloud. Alright, let's try. Let's see how long your trending topics online last. Sophia thought I was going to suppress the trending topics online and immediately became displeased. If you've got the guts, don't suppress the trending topics online. My agitated heart felt appeased, and I said, fine, that suits me perfectly. She truly had a big chest and no brains. She didn't realize the internet is a double-edged sword. If not handled properly, it can cause problems. I focused on my work. Running the company well was more important than anything else. I didn't even need to lift a finger. Sharp-eyed netizens quickly noticed something was off. Didn't the marital rape, contextualized legal case, lawsuit already fail? Why is she bringing it up again? And it was recorded that the woman deliberately used a knockout drug to entice the man, so it wasn't ruled as marital rape, it's reversed. Guys need to protect themselves in the future. This woman deliberately messed up his company's listing to protect her childhood sweetheart. Oh my God. I feel bad for the guy. Before, people cursed me fiercely. Now, they cursed her even more savagely. She didn't even dare to leave the house, hiding at home all day, constantly facing not only verbal abuse but also debt collectors. Things were also going smoothly on Olivia's side. Brandon was stripped naked and kicked out of their house. He had nothing left but a cheap pair of underwear to take with him. He had run up a mountain of debt to grow the company and couldn't repay it. Walking on the street, he would fall into muddy ditches. He found Sophia. Ive thought of a good way to make money. You go do it. Sophia was half skeptical, but she had already been sent to a sugar daddy's bed. Brandon was a rotten person. He had no bottom line. When it came to making money, he secretly recorded Sophia's videos and sold them, gaining a sum of money. When woke up and saw a mound of fat lying next to her, what else was there to understand? Chapter 8. She found Brandon and slapped him across the face. You bastard. What do you take me for? Brandon, money in hand, forcefully pushed Sophia away. Do you still think you're a virtuous woman? You had your uterus removed for me, and now he's still fussing over such trivial matters. You can't get pregnant anyway. Sophia covered her face and sobbed. I was truly blinded by foolishness to fall for you, when I had such a good husband like Ethan. Brandon bought alcohol and drank, disdainfully spitting out phlegm. Serves you right. People like you deserve to be stuck with me. Sophia completely broke down, and hatred slowly welled up in her eyes. She hated Brandon for always offering her a little warmth when she felt lonely, making her overlook that her good life relied entirely on Ethan. She hated herself for only enjoying momentary pleasure, while Ethan, no matter how busy, would always make time to be with her. Yet she pushed away that precious time, spending her days fooling around with Brandon, and committing a string of disgraceful acts. She stroked her abdomen, filled with insane regret. If the child from back then had been born safely, would Ethan have forgiven her? If they had a child together, could everything still go back to how it was? Brandon, watching her in a daze, kindly reminded her, stop touching your stomach, and it's your own fault for being so foolish. I just said it casually, and you actually went and had your uterus removed to grind into medicine for me. It's disgusting to even think about. I poured it all down the drain. Sophia's eyes were practically sparking with fury. Brandon continued to prattle on, boasting about his charm. It must be my charm. You didn't choose me back then, and I was heartbroken. Everyone laughing at me. Who would have thought you'd throw yourself at me after marriage? Sophia couldn't listen anymore. She picked up a nearby stone and violently smashed it onto his head. She cursed furiously as she struck him. Brandon, it's all your fault. You ruined my life. I am dragging you to hell with me. She dismembered Brandon's body and fed it to piranhas. She took all her money and searched everywhere for a hospital. Help me with a uterine transplant. I want to have a child. No reputable hospital will perform such a procedure, so she frequented illicit clinics. A money-grubbing black market clinic simply found a pig's uterus and performed the transplant for her. She stood at the entrance of my estate, covered in blood, her face beaming with joy. Ethan, look at me. Can I have a child for you? Didn't Eleanor want to hold a great-grandchild? She was disheveled and covered in filth, truly startling me. I just felt disgusted and ran to the bathroom, throwing up until I was dizzy. Sophia couldn't last long at all. The side effects of the haphazard organ transplant quickly appeared. I quickly called the police and dialed for an ambulance. I certainly didn't want such bizarre incidents happening at the entrance of my estate. Sophia's bizarre experience was reported by the media, and everyone cursed her. There really are all kinds of people in the world. How disgusting. Isn't this the woman who previously accused her husband of marital rape? Her mind must be truly messed up to do something like this. Even after her death, condemned, her parents were pointed at and whispered about. When they went out, they publicly disowned her, stating her ashes should not be brought home, but scattered anywhere. Meanwhile, I was comfortably taking a hot shower. The company's stock continued to hit daily limits. Do good business, and the market will give you the answer. Loving others well is not as good as loving yourself. I bought myself a few more racing cars. In my leisure time, I'd go to a professional racetrack for a couple of laps, enjoying a youthful thrill. While my buddies were going crazy over gifts, I only needed to think about myself. Which 5-star restaurant to eat at today? Where to travel tomorrow? Balance work and rest. Love yourself more.